up here. Hey guys, how's everybody doing today? Hopefully you guys are doing great. So we're doing another live, right? Been a lot of requests to make some more live content. Hopefully you can hear me pretty well. So everybody's doing great today. Good. How's everybody? Hey, what's going on, my friend? Everybody's doing good today. All right. Hi. Hello. Something that I was thinking about, and I think we all experience it, right? We all experience it every day. Mark, what's going on? You look younger by the second. Yes, that's because we have what you call your chronological age, and then you have what's called biological age. And a lot of people don't know the secret to control their body's aging system. The telomeres in your body, they're attached to the strand of your DNA. Did you know you can actually control how your body age? Yeah. See, chronological age is the age that they give you when you were born. That's a made up age. You're 25, you're 35, you're 45, you're 55, you're 65. That's not your real age. Your real age is based on what's called your biological age. That's the cells in your body, the way the cells interpret entropy, which is from beginning, from order to disorder. Entropy is what we would call time. And your cells can age differently based on how you think about yourself and how you feel in your mind. You see, your cells base their reality on what you put in your head. So keep that in mind. So age is really just irrelevant. It's not even. I'm sure you see people who are young and they feel like they're 50. You see people who are 50 and they feel like they're 20. So don't sweat chronological age. Biological age is the one you should really be focusing on, because that's the age of your cells. They're always different. That's not your real age. And it goes to show you, right, that how we talked about how everything is kind of made up, like time and all that stuff is made up, right? That's something that we have to keep in mind. But what I want to say to you guys is that this was called Be a Master Manifester. One of the tools that you're going to need to develop when you're going to create stuff in your life is you have to have the bounce back mentality. You cannot let people distract you and throw you off of your goal or your vision. People will come in, people will affect you emotionally, mentally, whatever. It's very important that you stay the course, because that's why I always talk about, you got to surround yourself with the right type of people, man. And I'm so profoundly sticking to that because I can see it in my life previously and in just other people's life. They're the people you surround yourself with and the people you allow into your life. They can have an effect on the trajectory of your goals and your dreams. And if you aren't strong, they could lead you wayward. You know how many people, how many of us lose our way every day because of what people think about us, or what we allow ourselves to be affected by. Or like, hey, why do you think of me like that? Why do they say that? Because we care about what other people think. Now, also, check this out. And this is not egotistical or any type of way, but people exist in different categories. Yeah. You have people that are awake, you have people that are sleeping, and you have people that are emotionally damaged, you have people that have trauma, and these people see reality in a different lens. You have toxic people, you have narcissistic people, and you have to look at yourself in a different category, because sometimes we can get entangled with these people. And when you get entangled with the wrong people, man, it's going to affect your flow. Your vibration is going to be off. You could kick you off your path. And if you're not careful, you could mess up. We see stories of this all the time, how we let people affect us. I think that's important, but something that you guys want to keep in mind, that just to encourage you that no matter what happens in your life or people come in your life, don't let anybody throw you off of your purpose. Don't let anybody throw you off your game or your goal. Yeah, they may knock you off, man, but if they knock you off, just get back up. It's okay if you get knocked off. What's not okay is that you don't if you what's not okay is if you don't get back up. You got to get back up so that you can stay moving. You're always moving towards your desires. And the thing about this as well is how these people can affect our ego, our views of ourselves. You know, there are people out there that are very smart. They know how to play with you emotionally. That means they can say the right words and the tones just to make you think twice about yourself, even lose your self-confidence, even lose your self-esteem. Narcissistic people are great at doing this, and you have other individuals who just do this. That's what I'm showing you. People that exist in different categories. So what I like, look, this is my analogy of this stuff. And I say this is not egotistical, but this is the truth. I like to use sports to analyze stuff. So let's say sometimes, did you know sometimes you're overqualified for people? It's not egotistical. It means that sometimes when you go to a job, right, the job says, well, you know what, you're good, but you're overqualified. You're like, man, how am I overqualified? But yeah, there's certain careers that say you're just too good. You're just too experienced. We don't need you. The same thing with people. There are just some people that you cannot go down to their level because they're going to corrupt you. And I'm going to use the analogy like sports and show you what I mean. So in sports, you have like the NBA, right? That's the highest like basketball league. Then maybe in the NBA, you may have like the G League, the lower league. Then you have the college league. Some of us are like NBA players or NFL players. And then you have like the college players. And then you have like the high school, the NFL. Then you have the lower level. Some of you guys are what we call the NBA players or the NFL players. And you're going out of your league and you're playing ball in the like lower league. You're playing like in the G League or you're playing like in the college and you're supposed to be a pro. That it's a big difference in mentality and awareness. See what I'm showing you? It's just a fact, man, that this is just how the world works. It's how the universe works. It's not ego about that. It's just life. That some of you are like, if you leave the NBA and you go play in the G League, it ain't gonna make sense. The plays aren't gonna work. The people, your players, they're not gonna understand you because when you're in the NBA, you're more talented. You have a bigger goal. You have a bigger understanding. You see bigger picture. When you're in a G League, you're just trying to get to the NBA. You don't have the mentality or the experience. And some of us will leave the NBA and go to the G League just to try to save somebody. Oh, I could think I could change them. Oh, I could think I could change her. Oh, I think I can affect them or some way. Or, maybe I can do this because you think with the NBA mentality, I have more knowledge. But when you go down to the G League and find out, like, man, they can corrupt you. They can take yours, like, make you feel less. They can bring you down to the G League and you're like a professional. That's why I say you have to be able to navigate and understand what lane you're in. What lane you're in, right? You got to understand it. Someone says the only person you can change is yourself. That is actually correct. But the ego is so, driven on control, and it thinks it knows stuff. It will try to change other people for you. And that's where people are going. See how it works? I got your book. Very helpful. Thank you. Thank you. Awesome. So that's just something I've observed and I've seen. I always like to watch human nature, human behaviors, psychology, the mind, quantum physics, all that stuff, because it plays an important part in how we navigate and create success or create whatever you want in your life, right? And that's very deep because all of us, especially when you're in the top level, you're going to attract people who are lower level because lower level wants to be in top level, but you cannot do it. Don't do it. Everybody have to learn on their own accord. Don't go out and try to be the savior. Don't try to save people because if you save someone, you might end up drowning yourself and the person you're trying to save. That's why you should never do that. But that's just something I've pondered and something that came to me, just like meditating and just observing people and just seeing situations, that there are just some people that no matter what you try to do, they're never going to get it. They're not going to get it because their skill level isn't up. Like I said, not everybody could go to the pros, right? Not everybody could be in the NFL. Like not everybody could be in the NBA. The players, the persons that are in the NBA, they have something special about them. Like you have something special about you. You may have more knowledge and understanding. So you're like a rare breed. Not everyone is like you, and that's why most like high achievers, people who are more higher spiritual, they're more alone because they just don't match with a lot of people because they can see through the BS. They can see like da da da, and that's the truth. Society will try to tell you otherwise, but it's just the truth of how human beings create and how we are. Right? I like that. The kingdom is not meant for everyone. That's correct. You don't when you bring people into your space, man, they have to be a privilege and it has to be special. You have to let people know that, hey, for you to be around me, I am very selective. I'm special. Just don't bring anybody in your house or into your space, right? I manifested an old friend of mine only by thinking about him every now and then, quite intensively. Yeah, we can manifest. You can create and look. So here's something you guys got to know, right? Because this is important. When we think about manifesting, or when we think about like using the law of attraction, right? People say we create. You don't create, because this will help you a lot. Don't think of creating. You cannot create. Look, everything is already created. I didn't create this car. I didn't build it from scratch. I didn't create the trees, all that. I observe the creation. So when you're going to manifest, get your mind out of creating, because it's going to make you put resistance, because you're going to think it's hard, because that's the mind is the only thing. Create. So let me show you how it works. When you're going to manifest something, you don't create something. What you do is you tap into an already created version of the experience you want to experience. You see how reality works? In quantum theory, we have what's called the multiverse. That's according to string theory now. That's one of the latest theories of theory of relativity. But string theory right now is looking very promising, because now we're seeing things that we can do experiments. But in string theory, they have all these different dimensions. And within these dimensions exist parallel worlds. And within every world is a version of a reality that's already existed. So as you can see, there's nothing really to create. It's already out there. What you do is you tap or bring that version into your space. And that involves frequency and vibration and resonance. Those three things you need to create your desired world. Let me repeat it. Frequency, vibration, and resonance. When you can bring frequency, vibration, and resonance, you're going to bring it in. So you have to be a master at what they call manipulating your energy, because that's what it's all about. So don't stop thinking about creating, because your mind, ego thinks it's hard. So you don't need to create anything. Everything you desire is already created there somewhere for you. And we call that superposition. Physics, they call it superposition. Superposition means that every possible outcome is there as a probability of existence until I decide to observe it or think about it. I collapse it into a reality somewhere out there. Now, all I have to do is get my subconscious mind to go tap into that. Did you hear that? Not my regular mind, my subconscious mind. The same analogy of lower self trying to to dethrone the higher self as God cast Satan from heaven. Yeah, it's the same principle. I'm glad you brought that up, because the interesting thing is that your ego will always try to bring you down. See how that works? So is it possible, someone asked you, so is it possible to manifest something if I'm not thinking about it every day? Yes, but here's the thing though. We're constantly thinking. Here's how we think. We think on two levels now. People don't understand this. we think mentally where we're aware of it, right? So I'm aware of I'm thinking. But did you know you also think unconsciously and you're not aware of that? So when you see people manifesting stuff like they don't want, they're actually thinking about it. But they'll say to me, but Mark, I'm manifesting what I don't want, but I'm not thinking about it. Yes, you are. The trick is you're thinking about it unconsciously. You see, your subconscious holds feelings and emotions, kind of like how we hold thoughts in our head. And those feelings and emotion drives actions and habits, it's like which creates reality. So you're actually thinking on two levels. So yes, it's possible to manifest something if you're not thinking about it every day, because your subconscious is always at work. So this is why it's important that you have to be always aware of how you feel in the moment. What the feelings are the thing. Your feelings are the guiding. I call them, the feelings are like GPS. Feelings are like guidance system, like a GPS. They'll tell you where you're going. They say, okay, we're going off course, we're going on course. You know, your feelings are the secrets, because we do think on both ways. We think unconsciously and we think consciously. So people have to understand that. A lot of people don't get that. A lot of people don't understand that. You know, they think, here's the thing. When we get a lot of stuff in our life, we become victims, right? But guys, to be honest with you, and this is just to be honest, most of the stuff, not all of them, but most of the stuff that we experience is actually created, invited, and attracted by us, to us, through two processes, through our conscious thinking and through our unconscious thinking. Is conscious thinking is by deliberate creation. Unconscious thinking is like a default program. It's like you're not aware, and the program is in the subconscious mind. So I didn't say everything, but a majority of stuff we can control. So that's something you have to keep in mind. Could you give advice for not to give up and think it will not happen or what we want to manifest? Yes, that's pretty common. As I said before, that's the thing about your ego, man. Your ego will put you down. It'll make you feel like giving up. It'll make you feel like it's hopeless. Because what the ego does, see, the ego looks for, when I see it, I believe it. But the real reality works when you believe it, you'll see it. So this is why you guys have to keep going. Like, even if you can't see progress, but as long as you're moving, you're doing something, you're being optimistic, you will get it. Don't look at what's happening, like, feel, because things can change like this. Look, when I was manifesting that lottery win, the lottery jackpot, there were times when I felt like that, when I felt like just stop playing or giving up, because I couldn't see it, because I kept buying tickets and the tickets were like not winners, like $2. My ego was like, man, give it up, man. You've been doing this for a while. Stop it. But what kept me going, though, was the belief and the feeling I had that, listen, I have to keep going. And that's what you got to do. The only time you give up is when you clock out and go out of this world. That's it. That's not even giving up. You transition, but you don't have to give up. How can I detach from something if I have to focus on what I want at the same time? That's a good question. So look, detachment, here's what guys got to understand. Let me repeat this. In order to get what you want, you're going to have to focus on it. Detachment has nothing to do with focusing. Here's what detachment is. Detachment is in a need or a desperation of the thing. See, I can focus. Let's use a car. I can know I want a car. I can think about the car. I can see me driving the car. That's me focus on the car. Now here's where attachment comes in. Let's go back to the focus. I can think about the car. I can know I want the car. Now here's where the attachment comes in. I feel like I'm not going to get the car. I feel like the car is not going to be worthy for me. I feel like I need the car because they're going to sell the car. See, now that's attachment. See, I'm creating neediness to that thing. So you have to focus on what you want, but you have to be detached. So you got to understand, detachment and focus is two different things. When I'm focusing on something, I'm acknowledging the thing in my space. I'm thinking about the thing, and I'm focusing. I'm aware of the thing, and I'm seeing what it would feel like to have the thing. Now, when I'm attached to the thing now, I'm bringing a different energy. Now I'm feeling needy. Now I'm feeling desperate. Now I'm feeling insecure. Now I'm feeling like I need to cuff the thing. I'm feeling like if I don't get this thing, it's not going to work. And then my ego brings it in. Attachment is all about us feeling. When you're attached to something, you're going to get weird feelings. You're going to get feelings of uncertainty, anxiousness. You're going to feel like impatient. That's the thing. We feel like we need something, or you're going to feel like you need that thing to validate your whatever it is. Like I gotta have this thing. Like I want that. That's attachment. So you can detach while focusing. See how it works? That's very important, because I think a lot of us, we do it wrong. What a lot of people do is, they think like, okay, man, so you're telling me that if I want something, I got to think about it. But Mark, isn't thinking about it like being attached or needy? No. Thinking about it is not needy or attached. The motto is, whenever you want something, guys, think about it like it's a regular thing, like it's supposed to happen. Like, don't think about it like it's bigger or like I need that thing. Think about like, I could have that. Yeah, it'd be nice to have that. Who cares? I'd love to have it. I'm going to think about it. I'm going to visualize it. But don't think about it like, damn, I need to have that. I gotta have that. That's going to take me to Don't do that with anything, because when you do that, you take yourself out of the game. You know, something very critical that you have to understand is that you are what you are. Let's think about that. Let that sink in. That's deep. You are what you are. So what are you? You are everything. You're the sky, the air, the money. You are all of that, because all of that came from you. Everything that you see in existence right now came from one single point, you included. So if you understood that, you have to understand that, okay, so I have everything. The stuff I want is a part of me. I'm not separate from it. Separation is what creates the anxiety and the attachment. When you understand you're not separate, how can you be attached to something? When you understand something's a part of you, there can't be no attached. You can't be attached to anything. Being free from care of your desires equals having all power as a God. Yes, I'll add to that. I'll say being free from care of how your desires come in equals having all power as a God. A lot of us struggle with that. See, we can get the desire part down, but we can't let go of the how, because our minds will continue to try to ping us and try to say, well, I hope it's going to come this way. Maybe it'll come that way. That way. That way. You know? No, it doesn't work like that. Do you have to see 888, or can something manifest only by seeing 111? No, it can manifest. Things can manifest anyway. It doesn't have to be synchronicity, guys. Can you explain more about our desires being a part of us? Yes, certainly. All right, so listen. When you came here, okay? So each one of you guys, all of us have fears, we have doubts, we have wants, our desires, okay? So whenever, like, what are you doing right now? People want to have freedom. They want to, whatever you want, money, whatever. If there's something that gets you up in the morning, if there's something that makes you feel purpose or passion, if there's something that inspires you, that's called a desire. That's not by accident. You see, is when you were formed, when you were created, each person have their own unique desire that was wound up in part of their DNA. So anytime you have a desire, it means that the desire you have is meant to be created as an experience. You don't get desires for luck or out of thing. Any desire you have in your heart, whatever, how big or small it is, it was actually pre-programmed by you before you got here for you to make it happen. The reason you feel separate from your desires because of your ego. Your ego doesn't know the play, doesn't understand that. So let's say you have a desire to be a successful entrepreneur. And every time you're like always watching stuff on entrepreneurship, and people are always saying, man, you always do self-business, you always talk about business. That was put into you by you before you got here. That means it's supposed to happen. So that's why so any desire you have, guys, it's a part of you. It's meant, anyone come up in your mind and you feel good, that was programmed by you. If someone says, I've been dreaming every day about my desires, that's your higher self telling you that I put this in you for you to go activate it and manifest it. The reason you haven't manifested yet or activated is because you don't know the requirements of how the laws work. They don't teach you the requirements. I talk about this. I said, society keeps secrets from people. The matrix keeps secrets from you. And the biggest secret they keep from you is what I call the laws, the requirement laws to manifest. I say this before, I say it again. One of the most fundamental laws, the requirement that you need to know that they don't tell you and they don't put blast out this, the most fundamental requirement is that you are an observer creating your world. Your observation collapses reality. In other words, your thoughts, your feelings, and emotions are what's driving your world around you. That's a requirement. See, you got to know that in order to create. What's another requirement? And I talked about this again. How you're not your thoughts. You're not the mind. You are the observer of the mind. So if you think about this, you're always up here looking down. That's a requirement. What is another requirement? I talked about this one as well. Nothing is solid in the world. We don't live in a material world. We live in an immaterial world. A material world is an illusion. It's a vibration of energy and frequency. It's our brains doing a very good job to make things look solid. That's a requirement. We know that through quantum physics. What else is another requirement? We bring things into our life by how we feel in this moment. Another requirement. You gotta know that. What's another requirement? The concept of time. The past and the future have no realities of their own. All their realities are borrowed from right now. Let that sink in. I gotta repeat that again because this is gonna get deep. Those who know will know. You're gonna catch this. After listen again. The past, the futures, and the future, they have no reality of their own. All of their reality is borrowed from now because everything that happens now creates what you call the past, and then you move to the future. So you can see that the future and the past, if your mind is conjecting this thing into your head, it's not there. There's no reality. The only reality that exists is right this moment of what's happening. Even though your mind will show you next week or tomorrow, I have to do this, or tomorrow I got this coming up, it's not here. Those are requirements. That's right. Someone says learning the laws of the universe is important. I just gave you those requirements. And if you don't know those, you're going to be lost. You're going to be lost in creating. And society don't teach people this. They don't put this out. They don't show individuals this. Those are requirements you have to know in order to get into the car and drive. You know, you have a car. In order to drive the car, you got to know how to turn the keys on. You got to have a key, right? You got to have the ignition. You got to have a seatbelt because if you don't have those, you ain't going nowhere. That's what I call requirement. And this is what I'm talking about. For those who know this now, they have a huge edge, huge advantage in creating their life. Because now they're going to use these laws to affect the field. And there's another requirement. Reality is a field. It's like a field of bubbles of information or quantum. So look at everything as information. Okay? I keep telling myself I am a millionaire. I will become a millionaire. Yes, if you do that, you will become a millionaire. So the next requirement is there is this field that exists where all the information you need is stored. Should I listen to subliminals with my native language? If yes, why? Because I understand English. Well, if you understand English, it doesn't matter. It's whatever you're comfortable with. So if you want to listen to your native language, you can. But if you understand another language, it's fine because your subconscious is very super intelligent. So it doesn't matter. The only way this matters is if you're listening to a language you don't understand, and you have to listen to it in your native language. Can I manifest the lottery only by thinking about it from time to time, but very intensively? Yes, but you don't think intensively on the lottery. The lottery is what you do is you think about it, you visualize it, and you buy the tickets, and you create a budget, and you win the lottery. Because remember I go back and I talked about it. Another requirement, right? The first requirement, major requirement, is that now we don't create anything. We just tap into these infinite versions of creation, or these realities that already exist. So there is a reality of you winning the lottery. It's out there. According to quantum theory and string theory, it says it's out there. And remember, everything is connected. Somehow we're superposition, or we're actually entangled with our stuff. So we can actually tap into it because we have a tool, the brain. We have the brain is the most powerful tool to do this, because the brain uses neurons to communicate, which fires off electrochemical. And that's what we used to put out. The heart as well. Don't forget the heart. Actually, the heart is more powerful than the brain. The gut is actually another. There's three things. So those are requirements. There's another requirement. We talk about this now. The heart, the gut, brain. There's three vehicles you can use to manifest. And actually the gut, to my personal opinion of what I've experienced, I believe the gut is the most powerful tool you can use to manifest. As a matter of fact, I believe we manifest through our gut, because our gut holds all the neurochemicals that our brain uses. Our gut creates those chemicals, DMT, dopamine, serotonin. Most of those are created in our gut. And our gut is known as the enteric nervous system. It's separate from the brain and heart. The gut can cut them off and create. And the reason why I believe we manifest really through our gut is because every time I feel something, my gut will always warn me. You always get feelings in your gut. Your gut talks to you with feelings, feelings, da-da-da. And then these feelings are so energetic that they affect reality. So I think we manifest really through our gut. So I believe that you have to have really good gut health. And if you can get your gut healthy, then you can see a bigger advantage is what you're going to create. So that's according to science now, and showing us. We just discovered this, that the gut has a separate, call it enteric system. And if you think about it, for the brain to work, it needs the gut to create these chemicals. And so that's very cool. So that's a requirement, right? See all these requirements I'm talking about that they don't teach you guys, or you may not know about. These are requirements, people. Another big requirement is there's not one mind. You have 3 different minds. You have 3 minds right now going on around you. Requirement. What is the science behind manifestation? That would be what we call quantum physics. Quantum physics is the science that shows us all things come into existence or manifestation. So the science behind it says that everything is information in waves, and our brain descrambles information to create pictures, images, feelings, and live stuff. So when we think of something, we affect a field. We send out energy. These energies are particles. These particles, they coagulate and come together, creating the bonds of an atom, a nucleus, a proton, electron. And when the particles come together, they create what we call matter. They look like a rock or a car. But our thoughts and our feelings affect the particles shift, and the particle then comes into our world, and we experience it as 3-dimensional stuff. That's basically, in short, the easiest way for you to understand science, quantum physics, in which you just asked me, the science of manifestation. I had a dream I won the lottery. I am manifesting it, but have small wins continuously. Okay, then that's fine. You're going to win. As long as you keep that up, you're going to win. When did you realize you had the gift of insight, bro? I realized when I had this gift was after I won the lottery. Um, I think someone suggested to me that I should go on Facebook, make a Facebook group and talk about it. And I was talking about it on Facebook, and then they told me to do a YouTube channel. And when I started doing the YouTube channel, um, I would rewatch myself after I talked, and I looked at myself. I was like, "Oh, that ain't me." That's when I knew something was up. I was like, "Nah, that's not me." That's when I knew that there was like something was channeling. I was channeling information because I never use scripts. When I do videos, I just, like I'm doing right now, everything is just downloads. And that's when I realized, like, oh man, there's something communicating with me and giving me this knowledge to give people. Because when I go on camera and I talk, it's like I zoned out. It's like information is just spewing to me. So that's how I knew I had this gift, and that's why I'm doing it. Because if you have a gift, you have to be of service to others and help people along the way, right? And a part of the gift I had was, I showed people the ability that you can create anything. I mean, the lottery thing was just an example that I won. I manifested it. To me, it's not a real big thing. I can do it consistently, but I think it's going to help a lot of people, a lot of you guys, because if you look at this guy, you can say, "Oh, if this guy can win the lottery, and if this guy's talking about this stuff, then it must be true. That reality must be this way." Because, so I think that's a universal design to do this. It's just to show you that you can do anything you put your mind to. That's what it is. And remember, mind is matter. Matter is not mind. Mind is matter. Remember that. Remember now, matter is what we call physical stuff, but nothing is physical. There's another requirement. So it's something we have to, guys, we have to continue to keep this in mind, because every day when you go out in the world, you're going to be distracted from this stuff. You're going to be distracted from tuning in. You're going to be distracted from focusing on your goals. It's just a part of everyday life. We all got lives and issues. That's how the matrix is set up. But I'm telling you, you have to find the time, and you have to keep your goals alive. But just keep them vibrating. Even if you can't see them every day, if you can get 1 minute or 20 seconds to think about your goal, you've done a great job. You're going to get it. And like I said, with people coming in your life, be selective with the people, man. Because there are people out there that aren't on your level. You want to help them, but you can't. They're just. It's the analogy is like, I like to use this. It's like you're like this advanced being, and when you're talking to them, you're speaking two different languages. It's like you know everything that they're going to do before they do it. Did you know? I do this. This happened to me. Did you? All right. It's like this. Let's say you go back in time, and let's say you are older. Let's say you're like a 55 or 60 years old person, right? And you go back and you meet your younger self, and your younger self like in the 20s, and you're talking to your younger self, but your younger self don't recognize you, right? While talking to your younger self, you already know everything that person's gonna do, and you're trying to talk to them and tell them, "Hey, you need to do this. Hey, to do that." They're gonna listen to you, but you already know, because you experience, like, man, because this is a pattern. All human beings do it. So this is what it's like when you're on the top level and you meet regular individuals. You automatically know what they're going to do before they do it, and you warn them and they don't see it. Like, you say, "Oh man, you know what, I think you should do this, because if you keep doing this, this is going to happen." They're like, "No, what you talking about?" All right, if you start doing that, see, and even when they interact with you, you're like, "Okay man, if I get involved with this person, I know what's going to happen." They don't see it. They'll tell you, "Oh no, it's not going to happen." Down the line, it happens. That's called insight. That's when you have a higher level of awareness. That's a higher conscious level. That's 5-dimensional consciousness. That when you can meet people, you can automatically know what they're going to do emotionally and how their life are going to end up emotionally if they continue on what they're doing. You're automatically going to know it. Because, number one, you've already experienced that stuff because you've been there before. That's number one. Number two, you have the gift of insight because you have discernment now. You can discern people's patterns because you've seen it over and over again. But these people, they don't see it themselves. So they'll come to you and they'll tell you like I think like relationships are a good example. Like they for someone with a relationship, right? Like let's say you're a woman or a man, right? And you find someone, right? And this person don't know you're the best thing that ever happened to them. They don't even know it. And you're telling them like, listen, you need to be with me because I can do this for you and I can help you. And to them, they're like, ah, I'm not ready to settle down. Oh no, yeah, you're a good guy, you're a good girl. They can't see that stuff, right? But you can see it because you know yourself. You're like, and then what happened? Like 6 months later, a year later, what they do? They call you up and start reaching back out to you and be like, you know, you were right. You were the best girl. You're the best guy. But by that time, it's too late. You already moved on. You already, right? That's how it is. So that's what I'm telling you. You can see before they can see. You can say like, man, you don't even know what you're doing. Yeah, you have this great thing in your hand and you're letting it slip away. Yeah, da 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 da. That that's the world. That's not egotistical, guys. That's just what happens when you elevate mentally. Yeah, people regret it later because you already seen the play before it happened. You're like, look, I know what's gonna happen, but they don't. That's why I said people exist on different levels. And that's why I said, unfortunately, you can't go down. I said, use an analogy: an NBA player and a G League player. The NBA player is not going to go play in the G League. The G League is trying to play in the NBA. You're an NBA player. You're at the top of the key. So if you go down to the G League, you're devaluing yourself, so to speak. Again, it's not egotistical. It is just facts. Your ego would like to play on that and make you think you're better than someone or da-da-da. That's not what it's about. It's just the fact that you have discernment, you can experience, and you can see what's coming. There's nothing wrong if you can see what's coming. And they'll even have you for choosing yourself over their toxicity. That's correct. Yeah, they'll have you choosing yourself for their toxicity. Because the thing about people, guys, is as I said, there's different sorts of people. There are people who have been in toxic things, and there are people who their minds are not ready yet. Their minds haven't developed. People develop in different stages. Like you may be at a higher stage of development. The person you may be interested in or desire, they may not be there. But what you want to do, you want to get them there so bad that you're going to go from the NBA to the G League. You're going to mess up yourself now. So what you have to do, you're going to really have to be like vigilant and understand like, I can't mess with you. I just can't. I can see what's going to happen. Now, a lot of us, our ego will take us over and then you go mess with them and then you have the worst relationship, the worst experience in your life. You're like, damn, I knew it, but I had to go do it. That happens to all of us. So you want to be that person that don't have to touch the fire to get burned to get experience. You want to be the person that you can watch someone else touch the fire and get burned and you can say, all right, I'm not going to go do that. That's the type of person you want to do. So you want to observe by, the experience of seeing someone else doing it. You don't want to jump in the fire yourself. That's just smart, man. That's just intelligent. That's just what you want to do. And that's gonna go a long way with helping you in your life, because now you're gonna be more locked in. So, you ever think of what this world is going to be like in the next 30 years? I don't really focus on that, like too much into the future thing, because remember, the future isn't here. But yeah, you could ponder on it. But again, you can look through history, right, and see how things are gonna evolve. Think about this. Within the last 200 years, the Industrial Revolution. Look how evolved our technologies. Like 200 years ago, we were like in horse and buggies and tills. Now you have your phone, smartphone. So within the last 10 years, technology. So if you can go that route, you can see things will change. But it's gonna thing. And the thing about human beings, guys, and everything. Here's something about the universe. This is another requirement that you gotta know. Nothing is ever at rest. Everything must evolve and keep changing. Change is a part of the requirement. You right now you're changing. You're not who you were yesterday, today. Your cells change. Your cells mutate. Every day you regrow cells. Your body change. Change is the one constant that the universe must do. So even when you sit still, you think you're sitting still. Your cells are at motion. They're resonating. The particles, the atoms that's implanted in your cells, they're vibrating. They're moving. So nothing is ever at rest. So if you think like you feel stagnant, you're never stagnant. It's just a thinking that you're stagnant. Right? So that's the key factor that you have to remember, is that to be this powerful or to manifest things, sometimes you're going to be lonely at the top until they catch up. That's the facts. Because again, guys, these requirements, a lot of people don't know these requirements. The few individuals that find out these requirements, it's like they have a cheat code, and you're one of the few ones. And I'm sure many of you are aware. Many of you have probably experiencing this right now. Many of you you can know what's going to happen before it's going to happen. You can look at people, you can see their pattern, you can tell, and then you can sit back and you can wait for 4 months, 5 months. They'll call you and you're like, I already knew this. I already knew this. You already knew this stuff, but you gotta let people develop at their own rate, and that's the most powerful gift you can have: the incitement, discernment, and take it to the next level. See how that works? Now, the next component of the requirement now is everyone. You guys have to know to master your subconscious mind. You have to be aware of that part of the consciousness. That is the most important. That part of your consciousness is where you're at right now. All your failures or your success comes through that part right there. Another requirement they don't teach a lot of people. Your subconscious is the gateway to your success or your failures. If you become an expert on training your subconscious, an expert on using your subconscious, of communicating to your subconscious, your whole life will change permanently, consistently. Because the thing about the subconscious is it's like a computer. Once you put a program in it, it stores it, accepts it, and runs it like a file. Think about that. If it's running a program, the program's not going to think for itself. The problem is, though, because we think with our logical mind, we can't think in our subconscious mind. We don't see it like that. We see things like change, feel bad. Your subconscious doesn't run like that, guys. Did you know you can literally program your subconscious mind to have consistent success? You can program your subconscious mind to be healthy. You can program your subconscious mind to be an optimistic. You can program your subconscious mind to remove toxic feelings, to remove traumas. You can program your subconscious mind to make you rich or wealthy. Did you know that? Program, which means it's going to run. Even if you're someone that's never experienced wealth or business or run a business, if you program your subconscious mind, it will create it for you. Mark 5-7 CERN have an experiment bigger than the first time. Yeah, I heard about that. They're going to use a particle accelerator. Then they're going to put the most amount of energy they've ever put in a particle accelerator. Do you think people are going to be more aware of reality? We talking about, yeah, right now people are aware of reality. We're in the age of enlightenment right now, Aquarius. We're in an awakening state right now. People are more aware now than ever because there's so much outlets now. There's so many creators like you guys watching. You're spreading the word. So yeah, we're even more of that. Are we consistently in touch with our higher self, or what's the best time? No. You're never. You are your higher self. You cannot be disconnected. You're always connected. There's no best time. Every time, the best time is right now. You're not separate from your higher self. You're like this. Here's what happens though, because you have an ego, right? The ego makes you think you're separate. The ego makes you think that it doesn't exist. Now think about your higher self, guys. Remember now, higher self, the word higher self is another dimension. So when it's going to communicate to you, it's not going to communicate to you through your ego. All right? It's not going to be, when you have something that's highly evolved, highly powerful, and you have a little computer that has a little bit of memory, you have this supercomputer. The supercomputer is not going to go in and communicate with a little computer, because the supercomputer can fry the circuits in the little computer, because the supercomputer has so much immense information and processing power, it wouldn't dare go in and, so that's the same thing with your higher self and your ego. Your higher self will never go in and try to change your ego or talk to your ego, because it's just so advanced, your ego wouldn't even recognize what's going on. So your higher self will talk to you through your feelings. It will go through your subconscious mind. It's never going to go through your ego. All the information your higher self will send to you will always come through your subconscious mind first. Then your subconscious will bring it down to a level where your ego can decode it. But it will never give you like heightened intuition to your ego. It can't do that, because your ego isn't developed to handle that information. Another requirement, listening to affirmations while you sleep. People don't know that. Can you talk about states? What do you mean, states of being? Can you elaborate more on program your subconscious mind? Thanks. Yeah, so 80% of our, hold on here a second. So 80% of our subconscious are programs. So what I do, I'll get my tablet here and I write my notes in here. So whatever comes to me from the universe, I always jot them down. So today I have my tablet. So I'm going to write you something that came to me from the higher self that I always jot down. And I'm going to show you here a little bit about what the subconscious mind is, how it operates, etc. All right, now this is very, very powerful here. So let me put it up here. All right, so there's some notes I was writing down on the subconscious mind. So I'll just jot it over a little bit. So your subconscious mind, it takes up 80% of all of your mental activity, right? I call the subconscious mind the seat of emotions. So it holds what's called your imagination, your unconscious body processes, like all of your memorized impressions, all of your memories, even before you were born in the womb, the subconscious holds that, right? It also has what I call your internal beliefs, your true beliefs, your habits. It's very under the surface. Anytime you're overtaken by strong emotions, it's your subconscious pulling the strings. Now check this out. The thing about the subconscious is, that's just what I jot down here, just make you understand. But the thing about, if you want to understand the subconscious, you got to know the conscious as well. The thing about the subconscious is that, remember guys, even though we're conscious, we are more subconscious. I know it sounds confusing, but let me repeat again. Even though we are conscious, we are more subconscious. So what does Mark mean by that? All right. I'm talking to you now. You're listening to me and you're understanding. That's conscious, right? At the same time I'm doing that, let's say I'm talking to you and I'm saying like, hey, you could win the lottery. You could win 500,000. You can do all that stuff. Even though I'm saying that logically right now, my subconscious is also picking that up. But the difference is, logically, my mind will start to tell me, well, you're going to win 50,000, 500,000 in a lottery, man. That's going to be like a lot of luck or odds. That's what your mind's naturally going to say. But as I'm saying that, my subconscious just hears win for 50 or 500,000. My subconscious can't think like my mind. It just says, okay, so Mark wins 550,000. Now, it believes that. It literally believes that. So what can I do to make my subconscious accomplish that? What I do then, I will consistently think and talk about that. I will visualize that. I'll keep that energy. Then my subconscious now is going to take that information, just like it made me win the lottery. It's going to put me in the right place at the right time. Boom, and I'll win again. That's an example of the subconscious. So the subconscious is not like your regular mind. Your regular mind, I can think and I can reason and I can push back and forth and I can decide it's not good. Subconscious is just like going to take it and go. It can't take a joke. So that's the difference with your subconscious. It's not aware and it's not logical. It's illogical. What did you mean by overtaken by overwhelming emotions? Okay, that's a good question. All right. So anytime, have you ever been in that state where you just erupt? And people always say their emotions got the best of them. And it's like, I don't know why I did that. I should have known better than that. That's subconscious. Your subconscious will override, shut off your ego, shut off your conscious mind and make you do something you don't want to do. That's subconscious. That's how people self-sabotage themselves. Because they have these emotions and these feelings that they need to do it. And they do it and they realize, like, after you do it, then the fact is like, man, I wasn't even thinking. Why would I do this dumb stuff? That's what I mean by that. See how it works? The subconscious uses pictures, images, metaphors. That's the communication you can to talk to your subconscious. The subconscious is accessible through hypnosis. That's the only way you're going to change your subconscious, hypnosis. Now remember, hypnosis comes in many forms, guys. You could have auto-hypnosis, which is using subliminals. You can have self-hypnosis, which you do yourself, which is pretty easy. Or you can have hypnotherapy. Subconscious also accessible through meditation. Now, the difference with meditation is now the subconscious, when you're meditating correctly, what's going to happen is your higher self is going to download information into your subconscious. That's the thing with meditation. So meditation don't clear blocks. Repeat that. When you meditate, you're not going to clear subconscious blocks. It doesn't work like that. Meditation opens your subconscious to receive guidance from your higher self. Your higher self puts it into your subconscious, downloads it. When you get out of the meditation and you're doing your thing, boom, 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 you'll get awareness, and you'll do something, walla, 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 bang. That's all it does. The blocks will still be there. The only thing that can clear your blocks is subliminal programming messages or hypnosis. That's the only thing that's going to get out those blocks. Of course, you have, what else? You got NLP, neuro-linguistic thing. I think tap-in is a part of it, but tap-in is you have to do that a lot. But if you really want to get true success, you have to do that hypnosis or use neuro-subliminal programs. What's the difference between programming and brainwashing? To be honest with you, they're like saying tomato and tomato. It's the same thing. Brainwashing is the same as programming. There's no difference. It's the same thing. When someone says you're brainwashed, you've been programmed. Saying some people say tomato, some say tomato. That's it. You can brainwash yourself. You can program yourself for success. You can brainwash yourself. You can program yourself for failure. It's all the same. It's not really the big difference. Everything is program. Brainwashing is program. Religion, program. Brainwash, whatever you call it. Matrix, program. Brainwashing, whatever you call it. It's the same thing. See how that works? My friends, any tips to reprogram my subconscious while sleeping? Use subliminal. You use auto hypnosis. That's using subliminals. How do we know what issues we need to unblock? Pattern. Your pattern will tell you what issues you need to unblock. Notice if you're always failing or messing up at the same thing. Notice your patterns. Patterns and how you feel about the thing will tell you what you need to unblock. And look, the beauty about your blocks, some of your blocks, they talk to you. You know most people will automatically know their blocks because they'll feel inferior. They'll feel not worthy. They won't trust and believe in themselves. That's their block. You automatically know your block. Blocks are limitations. That's what limiting beliefs. So when you know your block is when you're like, man, I can't get that. I'm not good enough for that. Oh, man, that won't happen to me. That won't happen to them. I'm only good at making this. I can see myself doing that. Those are blocks. Those are limiting beliefs. But if you watch your pattern and you notice like, man, every day or I keep doing the same thing, but I'm not getting the results I want. That's how you can identify your blocks. Or you can do it the easy way. You can just go get some subliminals and you can just have them clear all the blocks without you even knowing your blocks. There's subliminals for all blocks. Affirmations are the more important thing because they convince your mind it's true, your subconscious. That's why affirmations are what's in these subliminals. I mean, when you go to if you go to hypnosis or hypnotherapist, that's what they're basically doing. They're programming you. They're putting affirmations. They're putting you instructions in the subconscious. Because what they do is, whenever you're in a hypnotic state, you shut off the second component of the mind, which is the gatekeeper, the critical divide of the mind. So you actually cut off two things. You cut off the conscious ego, and then you cut off the psychological filter, which is called the gatekeeper. So those two minds are asleep, and that's why the hypnotherapist can easily put the suggestions into your subconscious. Or you can do it through subliminals. When you go to sleep, same thing happens. When you're sleeping, your conscious is shut off and the critical divide is shut off. Well, actually, the critical divide doesn't shut off. Sorry. The critical divide actually stays on when you're sleeping. But the critical divide have less ability to influence the subconscious because it doesn't have the ego there to help it. So it's less. So it's like practically asleep. The only suggestion is when you do subliminals, you got to use mask one so the critical divide don't detect it. Mindlessly, and I keep seeing your pop up. There's nothing as coincidence. So you're here. So again, guys, look, those are the requirements I am talking about. Requirements. Can you talk numerology? Yes, numerology is a very powerful force because numbers carry energetic patterns. And all numbers are very powerful energetically. 7s, 8s, they all mesh in the universe. So they match according to the circles we create. And the numerology we create these because we give them these powers. How do we embody the frequency of what we want? Very good question right there. It's very easy to embody the frequency of what you want, guys. There's so much stuff out there telling you, oh, you got to be in vibrational harmony with it. So here's how you embody the frequency of what you want. Okay, here's what you do. You think about what you want. Okay? In this moment, you can do two things. You can think about it and let an emotion automatically come up. Or you can think about what you want and ask yourself this question just like this. Man, I wonder how it would make me feel to have that. That feeling that comes up, you've embodied yourself with the frequency of your emotion. And you know what the frequency is? You'll feel happy or feeling good. Feeling good. If you feel good most of the time and you're manifesting something, you're in alignment with your manifestation. You're going to manifest it. That's a very easy secret. The secret is in two parts. You have to be present and you have to think. And then you're going to feel something. You're going to embody that. Things can only create right now. Nothing creates in the future or the past because they don't have any realities of their own. When you see the numbers, the universe has awakened and chosen you. That means now you're entering a higher level of consciousness. When the universe chooses you, people, you can't go back. Sorry. You've been calling. You know, being awake, when you're an awakened person, it's a privilege. You've been like lucky. It's like winning the lottery because some people will never be awake. Some people is in their lifetime or their purpose, they won't become awakened because there'll be too much distraction for them. So it means we should think about it and be happy, but comes what? Anxiousness with not having it now. So the first part is right. When you think about it and be happy, you're manifesting it. But if you feel anxiousness that comes with it, it's your ego interfering in the pattern. So the secret is to take the anxiousness out of it and just be happy. Just think about it and be happy. My formula is I only focus on what I want. That's a simple rule. And I teach this, and you hear it all my videos. Focus only on what you want. You're probably wondering, like, damn, why does this guy keep repeating the same junk? Focus only on what you want. What he's talking about? Because that is so profound and so powerful. Because if I'm focusing only on what I want, I'm actually training my brain to filter reality in a one-track mind. I'm creating a one-track mind. I want a one-track mind because I don't want to focus on what I don't want. So my brain now will start to do its job by recognizing Mark's pattern and say, okay, this guy's only thinking about good stuff. It has no choice but to show me good stuff. That my reality will become good stuff. Now, it's not going to be perfect. There's going to be times you're going to mess up and you may get distracted. You may think about some bad stuff because your ego will come in. But that's all right. But you'll be aware of it and you'll catch it. And I'll be like, all right, man, let me chill. I don't want that. Now go back to focus on what I want. I continue to do that. It's going to become a pattern. And a pattern is what my subconscious recognizes and is going to make a habit for me. See how that works? Yeah, a lot of people will not be awakened in this time, this life. Unfortunately, it won't happen. Because a lot of people are driven by our ego and we're just too much distracted. So when you're awakened, people, it's a privilege. You've been chosen. It's like winning the lottery. So I mean, if you want to know if you're awakened, let me tell you when you're awakened. If you're watching this, you're already awakened. Only awakened people can watch this because the universe only brings this to people who have the potential and the awareness to be awakened. So if this is on your page and you scroll and you see this, you're becoming awakened. That's only how it works. The universe will only seek out those who seeks it. The universe will only go with what's compatible with it. So you're not going to see this. If you're watching this, it's not by accident you're watching me. You've been chosen to watch this. The universe chose you. You're awakened. The only way you can, because this information I'm putting out to you, you'll get it. If you're not awakened, you're going to skip through this live. You're going to be like, what the hell is this guy? Move on. You're going to be like, what the hell? Probably watch whatever on TikTok. I don't know, people dancing or something. You just won't see this. You just move on. There's nothing's wrong with that. That's fine. You're just not ready to be awakened. But if you're watching this, it means that you have the potential. You know, like I like to use the analogy of sports. It's like if you're going to go to the NBA and they're going to draft you, they're going to like, okay, man, this guy's like 6'7", he's athletic. You have the gifts, you have the prerequisites to play. So if you're awakened, you already have the prerequisites. It means either you have the mindset, you either have the openness. There's something about you that the universe chose for you to be awakened. That means you have special gifts and abilities that are ready to be untapped. Anybody that's into spiritual stuff, anybody who wants to change your mind and focus, you are being awakened. You have been chosen. That's why they call it chosen ones. Do you recommend reading Neville Goddard? Yes, Neville Goddard is ahead of his time. What is it now? What does it mean when you talk about what does it mean when you talk to a dead person in your dreams? Did I visit their realm? Yes, so when we talk about people, you gotta understand what reality and life is and what you are. You are energy, so consciousness will go to different realms. So spirits don't exist in our realm. They're in our realm, but they're not. Basically meaning that they aren't conformed to time like how we conform to time. Everything is happening simultaneously around them. So when you're communicating in dreams, a dream is another reality. It's another world. It's like a parallel world. Did you know that you spend half of your life dreaming? That means you spend half of your life, almost half of your life, but you spend most of your life in this reality, but you also live in another parallel reality. Did you know that when you dream, it's actually another world? Did you know that? That's another requirement. They don't tell you that. So how do you know it's another world? Because check this out. Your subconscious doesn't know the difference between fantasy, or what we call reality, or when you're dreaming versus reality. Your subconscious doesn't know the difference. When you go to sleep at night and you have a dream, your subconscious thinks it's like right now where I'm awake. You know why? Because in the dream state, your bodily functions will still exhibit the same pattern. In other words, your heart will race, you will sweat, you will make movements because your subconscious believes these are things happening right now. So even when you're dreaming, it feels like it's real. So that begs to ask the question, what about right now? What if, is this a dream? Because if my subconscious doesn't know the difference when I'm sleeping or awake, what is this? Am I really awake then? Is this a dream within another dream? Am I in an advanced dream? There's so much stuff to ponder. But the fact, I'm giving you facts now. When you sleep and you're dreaming, your subconscious thinks it's in a new reality, another world. Your body doesn't know the difference. You're going to feel sweat. Your heart's going to race. All of those emotions that you do regularly, your mind body believes it's real. So that tells you something about reality. See how that works? Can I awake my brother? I want him to understand synchronicity and he won't be... Nope, you can't do that. You cannot awaken people who aren't ready to be awakened. You can attempt, but you can't. It's not going to work because, as I said, it's the mentality, man. There's some people that can't grasp this information yet, and it's fine. You got to understand that star seeds, chosen ones. That's what you are. If you want to silence your ego mind, the best technique you can use is you have to be vocal and talk out loud to your mind. You have to tell your mind something like, "Hey man, relax." And you have to ask your mind to prove this to you and ask your mind, is this true? And the mind can't do that. So you're going to have to be like a lawyer to your own mind. Everyone has their own time. Can lucid dream help by manifesting? Yes, lucid dream actually manifests a lot faster because what lucid dream does, it brings your ego into the picture now. Imagine you're dreaming, but your subconscious already believes it's a dream, but your regular mind knows you're dreaming, so it's going to create memories. So when you wake up from the lucid dream, to your ego and your subconscious, you both have memories. That's a very powerful thing. So those two memories come together now, it feels like it really happened. That can accelerate your manifestation. So lucid dream is very powerful. By the way, for you, if you want a lucid dream, guys, and I said this before, I said the gut is where you manifest. And think about this. For lucid dreaming, you're going to have to incorporate intermittent fasting. The more intermittent fasting you can do, the more you're going to lucid dream. Because when you intermittent fast, the stomach is empty, which has time to create more DMT, more neurochemicals, serotonin, dopamine, and those chemicals can rush to the brain, and the brain will fire off a lot more, and you will enter a lucid state. The problem is people, what they do is, before they go to bed, a lot of people eat like an hour or two before. Your brain is going to spend time digesting the food. It won't have the energy to put out to desire. So I always say 4 hours last meal before bed. You're going to be perfect. You're going to be lucid dreaming. Your body's going to revitalize itself. It's going to recondition itself. You're going to notice huge health beneficial. You become more aware. It's like a powerful thing, man. The body just regenerates. Because remember what intermittent fasting does? The body tricks and thinks it's going into starvation. So what it does, the body now will start to produce more good chemicals to rejuvenate, to release toxins. It'll start to melt the excess fats that were holding you up because it needs to survive. But the body actually is like a regeneration. The power of intermittent fasting, man. Can you explain how time doesn't exist and it's all an illusion? Then why do we age? Okay, you don't age because of time. You age because of your cells' entropy condensing. So what entropy is when the universe began, everything must go from order to disorder. That's what age is. That's not time. So when your cells look like they're aging, they're actually following a natural process that started from the universe. Okay? Time now is something we made up to match entropy. Time is what we call hours and days, so it doesn't exist. So we know that you age because of entropy, because of order to disorder, okay? That's not time. That's just a natural thing. Now, the only time is right this moment. And the reason you know it's right this moment, because this is the only moment you have awareness. Do you have awareness tomorrow? You can't. Tomorrow isn't here. It's right now. Do you have awareness yesterday? You can't. It's only right now. And when tomorrow comes and you have awareness, when are you having the awareness? Now. So even tomorrow is a projection just like yesterday. The subconscious mind only knows now. It doesn't know hours and days. So time is a construct we made up. The only image your brain have is of what's happening now. Even when you remember something, when you do it, you're remembering it now. You can't remember something tomorrow because it's not here. When tomorrow comes, you're doing it now. That's why time is an illusion. It's a trickery. It's just an ingenious thing we made up to make sense of our lives. Time doesn't work with your body the way chronological time works. Yes, some people do not age, as because I talked about this in the early thing, and when I opened this live, is because you have chronological age, you have biological age. Biological age is depends on entropy of your cells. Each person's cells will will age, what we call age differently, because of your telomere. And you have control over your telomeres. You can actually make your mind, your body, and your face and all that stuff look 10, 20 years younger than your chronological age. Chronological age is made up age. Chronological age is you're 65. That doesn't count. What counts is your biological age, your cell age. And did you know that you can go to doctors and they can tell you your real age? You could be 55 and you can say, hey, doc, tell me my real age. And they'll do a test and they'll show you biological. They'll take your cells and say, well, according to this, you're 35. You could be chronological 25 years. You go to the doctor and your biological age might be 35 based on how you live, your habits, and all that stuff. So the real age is not your chronological, it's your biological. It's the way your cells are aging. That's why you see some people, they can be like 50, 40, they look like they're 30 or 20 because their biological age is slowing down, but their chronological age is whatever you call it. It's fake. It's all, and then people that can actually slow their age down because they can talk to their telomeres, the end caps on the DNA. They can tell the telomere to stop disintegrating slower, and that prevents less age. So that's why I'm always talking about. I said, guys, a lot of this stuff in the Matrix is made up, man. It's propaganda stuff. It's just designed to keep you in there, to trap you, to make you think like you're what you're not. Your age is not who you are, even your name, all that stuff. I always talk about it. I always disprove all that stuff. I said, look, you're not your name, you're not your age, you're none of that stuff, man. Right? I ate only lunch for a week, but I didn't remember any dream. But when I ate dinner, I dreamt and remember. Yeah, I always, 4 hours. For me, after I finish this, that's when I have my dinner. It's like 2:30, 2 o'clock is when I have my dinner. Then I don't eat anything after that. My breakfast, 9 a.m. After that, dinner, 2 p.m. That's all I eat for the whole time. Been doing that for years. My body's gotten used to it. That's intermittent fasting right there. Okay. So guys, remember these requirements. I'll get on time and do another live again. But right now my time is a little bit up, so I got stuff to do. But I'll come back again. And I'll make sure I can see if I save and upload this video, right? So thank you guys for tuning in. I'll see you again.